Let's start our day here watching the sun come up on the Jackson Street Bridge, as people call it, the quintessential view in Atlanta. But the thing is, questioning the government, as I am trying to do, takes a community. Sometimes the questions that we ask are black and white, but other times they're gray. Questioning the future government before us is definitely going to put us in a gray area, but that's what I see my District 58 neighbors doing. So how many times, I wonder, has my team alone this week eaten at Staple House? About 3 times, because the money spent goes directly to the Giving Kitchen to help restaurant workers in need. The history of Staple House has an identity inextricably tied to giving back, and it's even located on Edgewood Avenue, a place in need of continued support of the civil rights history etched on the streets. It's 1 block from where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is buried, and I know their future is a staple in our district. Who knew after being beaten you could walk to a world-class restaurant? And we probably never thought that after 200 young people from Moving in the Spirit could deal with community stigma by engaging in the arts through needs-based scholarships that integrate high-quality dance instruction with performance, leadership, and mentor opportunities to overcome the obstacles they face. But this is good for young folks, even babies, in between the lines of truth, knowledge, and answers. Pictured here, they help carry on the legacy of older individuals, those who have fought through poverty, racism, and sexism, like Miss Helene Mills, who now has a center. It's also a polling place and a focal point in our community. So centers like these are smack dab in the middle of civil rights history. They boost the importance of engaging with them, because history isn't just in the past like a museum, it's now. So through design thinking at the Metropolitan Library, we can come together and fail. First attempt in learning. But sometimes you just need a whole lot of fruit in a cup or a bowl to feel a tropical vibe when you're iterating on how to provide resources for Black women in the Old Fourth Ward, wrapping their minds around their health experiences through design thinking. So you somber your way up the street, but you get lost, because District 58, it splits families into freight trucks and ships them off into disparate groups. This is gerrymandering, whose primary goal is cracking, packing, hijacking, kidnapping us away from each other. And this is Manuel's Tavern, or as I like to call it, Manny's, or Gary Manny's, because it's on the district border, one side of the building in different districts. And once you snake through the crooked streets, you might find a home you love. It can be a bungalow, a condo, a high-rise, a single family with solar panels, but you might need some support from the Southwest Community Empowerment Center on first-time home buying. And that's what I did. As a state rep making $17,000 a year, I am not rich, and this nonprofit helps not rich people find a home. So I walked over to Artlanta, an art studio owned by a Black guy, clad in overalls and tattoos, to see if he'd want to have me as his neighbor. And he said, you know what, that sounds good. Check out the side of our building with the trickling water. And speaking of water, at this point, I'm pretty thirsty. I'm actually kind of hungry. It's midday. So I'm gonna go grab me some cabbage, maybe, in Cabbagetown. Now, there's a few explanations as to how this neighborhood got its name. One is that Irish transplants who worked at the mill would grow cabbage in their front yard so you could smell it, or that a Ford Model T took a sharp turn at one of the intersections of Cabbagetown, flipped, and spilled its cargo of cabbages across the street. And another story is about a neighborhood baseball team. But either way, the point is I'm hungry. So I take Krog Street Tunnel, the tunnel that connects Cabbagetown and Old Fourth Ward and other neighborhoods, tunneling me from my predecessor in the state house's house in Cabbagetown to my home in the Old Fourth Ward, all the while admiring graffiti. And when I get through there, I get to find me some of the best jerk chicken in the city with a spicy Jamaican Scotch bonnet at the Jamrock Jerk Center, where from inside or outside you can see the smoke billowing. And whatever I get in my styrofoam box, I make sure to get some for Mr. Alan Carter. He's my most senior campaign manager, Although his eyes can't see, his voice is strong. Anytime he calls, he says, "Beautiful ParkCannon, how are you and how's your mom?" He reminds me that every day is a beautiful day. He even plays music on the radio. And he reminds me, like Mr. Steven Seberg, who painted the ceramic tiles on the Krog Street Tunnel, that anything is possible. He's the father of one of my favorite women in our district who won't allow me to capture her photo because a photo freezes the spirit in Native American souls. He's 89 now, bending expectations. And at this point, we've chomped, we've stomped, the day is darkening, we've danced, and we've found ourselves back in a cozy home in the old 4th Ward. Cashel just bought her first home and has always been a strong advocate for women's health, and she'll open her arms to embrace anyone in need. Just like this family, Dana and John Kraft, who today are celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary on St. Charles, right here in Virginia Highland. Their porch is always the scene for political conversations, quirky jokes, and a very watchful eye over the neighborhood. And these are the people that remind me to be thankful. From Adams Park, Campbellton Road, Sylvan Hills, Oakland Cemetery, Reynoldstown, Mechanicsville, and Midtown, they're my neighbors, and they make every day a beautiful day. So thank you.